Satanism has been a very controversial practice for the absolute longest, especially amongst religion. People can believe in whatever they want, but being a Satanist that sacrifices someone in the name of the devil is straight up unhinged. So today for a Halloween special, I'm going to be talking about 3 cases of Satanists that took other people's lives in a satanic ritual to serve the devil for something in return. In 2014, 17-year-old Jose Reyes and his 16-year-old friend were arrested after torturing and killing a 15-year-old girl because they believed that killing her would allow him to sell his soul to the devil. They lured her into an empty apartment building where they committed the deed. They stabbed her in the face with a screwdriver, but not after hitting her with a toilet seat, an ashtray bowl, and a window blind rod. She was held down so that she was unable to escape, and even said, quote, "Why are you doing this to me?" This dude strangled her and even went as far as to carve an upside down cross into her skin afterwards. Once they were done, they skipped the apartment, leaving the door open like a couple of idiots, where the residents of the area would eventually find the corpse. After he did this, he bragged about the murder to his friends, like the coward that he is, with those ugly ass glasses. Surprisingly enough, he actually disclosed it to his family, and to his family's credit, they actually called the authorities to have him arrested after being informed about his sickening crimes. Dumb and Dumber admitted themselves that her body was taken advantage of before and after her death, causing internal injuries. The cause of death is unknown, and of course these two faced murder charges, and it's only a little over an hour that it took to convict these shit stains guilty of murdering a 15-year-old girl. After all this, he was promptly sentenced to life in prison with no hope of getting out. A neo-Nazi Satanist cannibal doesn't exactly sound like a good person, at all. But in June of 2016, a group of them, along with 36-year-old Andrei Trehubenko, who looks like a cracked out gremlin, and his girlfriend who's also 36, Olga Bolsakova, lured a woman named Victoria Zaitseva onto a trip to Karelia, Russia, but instead of a nice outing, she was brutally ambushed by the both of them, stabbing her to death using a knife as the weapon of choice, as a part of a satanic ritual. This isn't the only person this group has killed. They decided to link up with a couple named Alexander Kimori and Tatiana Deryugina, decided to kill a 27-year-old man named Platon Stefanov, who was also into Satanism. He was also beat up and stabbed to death, and they feasted on his body afterwards, cutting out and eating his flesh along with his ribs. After the ordeal, they put him into a makeshift grave, burned all his clothes, and if you thought these people were done killing people for their rituals, you underestimated their evil. After they offed Platon, on August of 2016, Trehubenko killed a man in a drunken argument, then used his blood for ritualistic purposes in some dingy apartment. Almost a decade later, the 3 stooges were arrested for their parts in the murder. Trehubenko actually showed the police incriminating evidence of the crimes. The main killer, Trehubenko, was sentenced to life in prison with no hope of release. Kimori was sentenced to 15 years in prison, and Tatiana was sentenced to 13 years behind bars. The funniest part about this is that Trehubenko only became a Satanist when he met his girlfriend Bolsakova, who was already a Satanist, according to his 19-year-old sister, Senya. She definitely saw something sinister between the two. She even said, quote, "My brother fell in love and was mired into it because of her. I was against the relationship." The couple were also members of a neo-Nazi group called the Order of Nine Angles. They participated in a cult called the Legion Avenue Satan, which is a part of the Order of Nine Angles. A man named Daniel Hussein killed 2 sisters named Bibba Henry and Nicole Smallman in a London park so that he could sacrifice them to the devil so that he could have a better chance at winning the lottery, specifically the Mega Millions Super Jackpot lottery. Yep, you heard that right. This prick is as crazy as they come. The sisters plan on going to a party located in Fayette County Park in Wembley to celebrate the birthday of Henry, who was turning 46, and were just hanging out in the park until early in the morning. Hussein committed the attack at around 1 a.m. and stabbed Henry 8 times and Smallman 28 times, and accidentally cut himself in the process when Smallman attempted to fight off Hussein. After the attack, he moved the bodies 75 meters to another location, like simply moving the bodies to an abandoned place wasn't to hide the evidence. But 36 hours later, they were then discovered by unfortunately the boyfriend of Nicole Smallman, which is fucked up on way many levels. The police were able to find him by using DNA on the weapon that this smooth-brained maniac left in the crime scene. They searched for his family's crib and his internet history to find a plethora of evidence that this dude is a Satanist, including a contract that was signed in blood. This contract said, quote,
"Perform a minimum of 6 sacrifices every 6 months for as long as I'm free and physically capable, in exchange for winning the Mega Millions super jackpot."
But this turd went to trial for his murders on the 8th of June at the Old Bailey and ended up getting 35 years to life in prison for the murders of Bibba Henry and Nicole Smallman, which is honestly kind of a light sentence for the savagery of these murders. But he was a minor, so they couldn't sentence him to more time. The sister's mother, Mina Smallman, said this statement, quote, "He's a broken human being who, if he hadn't been caught, other families might have been suffering as we have. He ain't there now. He's so deluded. Come 35 years' time, they won't let him out. I won't let them let him out." And one of the prosecutors in this trial, Oliver Glasgow, made a statement of saying, quote, "Given the weight of the evidence against him, someone who actually believes that an agreement with a demon will work could refuse to accept the aspect of the case against him. It's hard to imagine that anyone could do this to another human being, what this defendant did to Bibba and Nicole, but to have planned it, to have prepared it, and to have performed it with such ruthlessness, selfishness is truly terrifying. He did not care what he had to do to get what he wanted, and these two women were nothing more than the means to a very disturbing end."